or a same sex experience long time ago, it don't matter if he cheated with another woman, but
Now,
because he's
mind
had
y'all,
that
y'all was DT when
man,
I was back in college too. But go ahead.
because he's had that man, oh, he's barred for life. Oh, I can't deal with that. I cannot understand. I don't trust you anymore. I don't know you anymore. Baby, that was 30 years ago.
Hmm?
How
And
do you
guess
I'm,
not
what?
trust
I'm good
A
him?
in you.
lot of y'all in
Mhm.
college,
Have a good morning.
we know. We, especially those of us that are homosexual, we know what you did in college, boo.
Sure do.
Yeah, and that's the double standard. And I don't want to stray too far into this because I really want to focus on what we was talking about. But it's okay for women to experiment,
But not men.
but not men. Y'all need to stop that.
It's instantly a problem. It's
Ooh.
instantly a problem. Like I cannot see you. I can't see you the same anymore.
Ooh.
What do you mean you can't see him the same? What if you didn't know that about
But
them?
when you that part.
And
If you didn't know, then what
I'm
would
not
you do?
saying deal with somebody who has not accepted their sexuality, but
They
do
what?
understand sexuality. Number one is fluid. Number two, at the same time, truth
What's
like
fluid?
jokes aside,
Scooty, don't shut up.
sexuality is fluid. It has been fluid. I don't care if you want to go back to biblical times, Roman time, all that. It ain't changed.
It has been fluid.
Baby, homosexuality
Egypt,
has been there from the
Greeks,
beginning. From the
Rome,
very beginning.
oh, the very beginning.
In fact, back then
Sexuality.
it was more acceptable than it is now, which is crazy.
That's the crazy part.
It was
Back
Sexuality.
then,
acceptable.
back then, husbands and wives had neighborhood oaths. You know
They had
the group thing. They
concubines,
had
they had
neighborhood
groups.
things.
I'm just saying, back in the Grecian times, they had bathhouses where men go and they do what they want there
All day long.
all
And
day
before
long,
you
honey.
went to war, you had they have a
But
wasn't that Troy that
let's go
was in
on
that
ahead and
movie that
swivel
if you
back where
had
we were. Let's swivel back where we were.
okay
I want to talk more
okay
about sexuality.
Cause no, because no, in all honesty, jokes aside, the way people are moving now when it comes to relationships, y'all scare me.
Mm.
Y'all don't believe in building together. Y'all don't believe in, and I understand nobody like the struggle, but baby, life is a struggle.
Hmm.
I I
They
gotta say
they
something
struggle
about
by themselves. I don't know why they can't struggle with somebody else.
But when and hold on, Kung Fu, because this the thing. Every time I see a woman say 50-50 for what, have you seen this economy, girl? Have you
you
seen
think it's
the
going
economy that we are
I'm
in?
about to say you think everybody just doing it by themselves
And then you complain about paying all your bills, but the man just offered to pay half the motherfuckers,
Exactly.
but you still bitching. Go ahead,
Mm.
Kung Fu.
I would like to say that I do not believe in just struggling to struggle with somebody.
No,
If
I don't either.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, especially from for people who have a more feminine presenting self, like whether it's a femboy, whether it's a fem, whether it's just like a feminine, a woman in a heterosexual relationship. I do not, I do not think it's in the best interest of any femme presenting person to be with somebody that's not on the same level with them. Like, do not fall into the trap of them fucking Tyler Perry movies
I am
because
disagreeing with
when
you
Sure
when
don't.
guys
right now because, and let me explain why. Right now, if we went by levels, Xavier nowhere near on my fucking level.
I understand what you're saying. I'm making a different
Xavier
point though.
don't make near the money I make.
I,
You're
If
making a
okay,
different point
I'm
though,
making a
Dante.
different point though.
oh, go ahead, baby.
Yeah, what I'm saying is for feminine presenting people, it does not make sense to date down. Because when you date somebody that's on a lower level than you, they get mean. Like men and more masculine people get mean, they get resentful. That
Yeah,
yeah,
oh
I
it's
actually
Wait, wait, wait.
like
argue
I
with
do
that.
not recommend
They
that for
get
any femme
mean and
presenting person.
resentful.
Huh?
I'm trying to
okay
understand.
I'll give you
Like,
an
wait,
Yeah,
example
When you're
masculine
literally,
presenting people get mean
hold
and
on.
Hold on,
resentful.
everybody. Hold
Explain it
on.
to me. Let her explain. I want to know what she's talking about.
Yeah, they get mean and they get resentful about the progress that you're making. And instead of being somebody that's like trying to keep pace with you and come up to where you are, it's easier for them to pull you down and pull you back. But
But
for any femme presenting person,
hold
like whether
on.
it's a femboy, it's a it's a feminine lesbian relationship, it's a woman in a heterosexual relationship, I don't recommend you, like, fuck that Tyler Perry love. Do not believe you executive and that car mechanic is just gonna be super happy that you pulling in 6 figures and he's struggling with the 45,000 and all his child support. Like, don't believe that lie. That's my perspective. I've never seen it work well. Like, in my personal life, I've seen people get fucked over so bad they've tried to pull people up to where they are, and it's like, instead of, I don't understand why you wouldn't meet a woman that's doing well and try to match pace. Like, you understand you're not there yet, but why would you be a ball and chain around a leg?
Or even if you do meet somebody,
I agree with
encourage them to get to your level. Encourage and push them as much as you can. Help
Yes.
them to get to your level. Don't just let them stay stagnant because you feel like, oh, I got control over them now. I got them right where they want to be. No. Because that's what,
As someone in a who before John, my previous relationship, I used to work at Outback Steakhouse. I transferred from Houston, Texas to Colorado.
Lorel, baby. Fast forward.
long
I'm
story.
getting to it. I'm
Fast
getting to
forward.
it.
Not
I
fast
was a
forward.
server and I was on my way.
No,
I
the
was
was
a server
a
on my way.
3-hour story.
Let me tell
Lorel
it.
was
Let me
telling
tell
a
it.
3-fucking-hour-long story. I don't have time.
No.
In the year of
Even
our
on
Lord
TikTok,
Jesus Christ,
Lorel,
1975.
Lorel,
Let me get
even
to
on
it.
TikTok, we can fast forward through the videos now.
Let
They
me
changed
get to it. I
You
was
doing a
on
roller
what
story.
Kung Fu says. I was just, on my way up and up, trying to bring both of us up. And the other party was basically abusive, letting me down, everything, accusing me of cheating and all that stuff when I was just going to work and coming home. So what she's saying is like factual. Because people will look at you and be like, "Oh, why you doing good? Why can't I do good?" Why? I'm like, but if I'm helping and supporting you on your progress too, why are you beating me up for it?
Because that's internalized narcissism.
I'm gonna have to disagree.
Everybody,
Not
Respect.
everybody's like that.
No, I'm saying because I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree. Seeing what I'm trying to do has motivated Xavier to even try and do better.
yeah, and like you explained, you're the masculine person that has more money, and you're
Masculine
dating
too.
the fit. He a
But
little
you're
bit more
leading by
feminine.
example. That's
He a
what
little bit more feminine than you.
we're talking
Come on.
about.
Just
Yeah,
a little bit.
Dante.
I mean, not
He's a
being
lot
funny.
more.
Who doing the
Maybe
business?
I don't see it, but I get what
Okay.
you're saying.
Shut up.
You doing the
Kung
business? Okay.
You can
You know,
clearly see the differentials
Papa's
in
doing
Xavier, Dante.
You do the
Okay.
bending.
I mean, I ain't saying you can't. Maybe I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Like,
Because
for example,
because you're
John.
there with him every day. Think about the way he speaks. Think about the words that come out of his mouth a lot of times. Think about his mannerisms a lot of times. Are those the same mannerisms
think
as
about
you?
who doing the
Kung Fu.
Bravo!
Kung Fu, did you just say the word? Come on, Kung Fu.
bending, nigga? My bad, but come on, stop beating around the bush.
But just because who do the bending don't define masculinity.
I'm not
It
worried about the
doesn't
bending.
define
I'm not.
masculinity.
It doesn't
Come on.
define it, but
Listen
it
to
knows it. But it knows the position. You know. The
Listen
position
to his
in the
speech, Dante. The when he draws things. Okay, that is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yeah, he ain't put no makeup, but he more effeminate than you.
He's more effeminate. I'm not gonna say feminine, but effeminate.
I understand what you're saying.
Me, I'm feminine.
Now you see it. Now you hear it. Now you're gonna be listening hard. Now, damn,
I'm feminine.
Oh, we know.
we know, Deshaun.
That's
We,
Dante,
shit.
this is like me and John.
Please do me a favor, y'all. If you're in the comments, please do me a favor. Tap the screen, y'all. Jokes aside,
Yes, baby.
it helps protect the live in case anybody coming in here who got any issues with the LGBT plus or whatever. It just protects the live. It keeps the interaction going. And
Don't tap in the boxes. If y'all are in the
only
box,
if you're in the
please don't
comments.
tap.
Only if you're in the comments. If you
Only
can't,
in
The little finger.
I don't care if you can't. I know you used to that finger. Even if you can't gift, that's fine.
It's
But
more like-
please and comment for me, y'all. Okay. But hold on, you had something, DJ.
I was gonna
I thought I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't matter if it's femme or masculine. That's a mentality thing about
It
people
is.
trying to bring you down. So that goes back to what Dante was saying earlier too about asking the questions and watching people's mannerisms and how they are around other people, because that can lead later on in the relationship to the result that you were saying.
It's an insecurity thing too.
It
It's
is.
Yeah, I just think a more masculine person's pride is more tied into the money that they make, and like their
That's where most
job and stuff like
masculine
that.
code of value comes
because
from.
Yeah,
it's been
that's
taught
your
that way.
internal value comes from
But
like
those-
how much they can
because it's been
provide.
taught that.
That's
I
what
want
It's
to
been
say
taught that, man.
those are
It's their
men that don't
value.
have anything else to offer, though. Those are men that from what I've seen, those are men that
I've
don't have
seen-
anything else to offer.
And I've
Well,
seen
it's not
women
that,
tell
it's just-
men. I've seen women tell men. I've seen those of feminine presenting in our community tell those that are more masculine, whatever. That hey, we are only a wallet, and we are a. I'm trying to think of the word to use. Phallus. That's our value.
Remember when we were younger, Dante, in the black household? It's always the woman is supposed to take care of the house and the man's supposed to go out there and work and do this and do that. And so nowadays, when the man actually goes out there, oh, you're not making enough. I'm going to go out there and do it on my own. I'm going to do this by myself.
Marita.
So
I
it's
witnessed
been
that
taught that
happen.
way.
Is
That
it like
is
that? Because
not-
historically, black women have had to work just as much as black men. Like this whole woman at home thing, that was never us. That was never us. Like we went from plantation to in-house servitude, maid, mammy, nursemaid, all that stuff,
But
to
even
out
back then,
in.
Kung Fu, who was making more? Who was
Yeah,
getting
they might have
more?
been making
We
more.
weren't
I'm
getting
not
respect back
disputing
then,
that.
but
But a
they
black
would- they
household has
would
never
put-
been able to survive off of one income historically.
Historically, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, whether they were in the
Historically, yeah.
fields or working in somebody's house.
Well, even
in
then they
servitude.
can't. Shit.
But then that's where I get confused.
Hey, Damarita.
And hey, Jay's mama, like don't get me wrong, and I respect what y'all do, and I will advocate for y'all, but I get a little confused. Sometimes
Good morning.
when I see the women tell the men if it's 50-50, right? I'd rather be alone. Now, hear me out.
Say what you said again. I just didn't hear the end of what you said.
I'm saying,
I'd
like,
rather be alone.
when they say the whole, if I gotta pay half the bills, I might well be by myself. Here go the thing, sweetheart. For real. I can't speak for all men, right? But I look at it, I'm just looking at it from the aspect of what we dealing with right now in this economy. Most times in the household right now, rent or mortgage is the biggest bill coming into the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all are both working, if that man is picking up and he taking on the responsibility of that rent or mortgage, explain to me, how is it wrong for you to help him by picking up the lights and cable?
But you're making the assumption that they're taking care of it all by themselves. That's what I'm saying. Like
No,
some people,
I'm
when they
going by
say
the con-
50-50,
No, I'm not
they
making
mean 50-50.
an assumption. I'm going by the conversations that I see on the app. That's what I'm talking about.
There are
Okay.
some conversations like this, Kung Fu. I've
No,
listened
and
to
I'm not
TikTok lives.
disputing
I'm,
that.
talking about I'm literally talking about the conversations where I have seen heterosexual men come into the panel
Heterosexual.
and with heterosexual women. And I literally watch, and I'm not saying that all men are good men. Don't get me twisted. I'm not that slow. Being a man, I know that. But what I'm saying is, I literally sit here and I watch them literally beat these men down and then tell them, well, that's the bare minimum. Baby, half the men you dealing with ain't giving you the bare minimum.
But that doesn't mean I have to accept less. That's my thing.
Yes, I'm not-
Like
no,
we just
but
expect
accepting
feminine
less.
presenting people to
Hold
accept
on.
less.
You are not hearing what I'm saying. Hold on, Gordito. You're not hearing what I'm saying. What I am saying is, I'm gonna put it to you like this, and I'm gonna let Gordito go. I have always been of the mindset, and I'm not saying nobody here ought to agree with me. If I got a man that's trying to basically motherfucking pay, he doing everything he can possibly do at that time, I'm gonna stick beside him.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't. If you guys are giving your all both, then that's great. What I'm saying is don't Okay, so the conversations that I see are a little different. It'll be what's wrong with 50-50. Okay, yeah, 50-50 financially, fine. But then you'll find, oh, but it's not 50-50 in the relationship. You expected me to do 100% of the housework. You expect the laundry, house clean, cooking, all that. That's labor. That's time.
Ain't wrong with getting up and
When
clean.
I
I wash dishes, I cook laundry.
and there is nothing wrong with that. But people
You
be acting
supposed
like they're
to.
supposed to be people be acting like they're supposed to be the king of a castle that they haven't constructed.
You better preach kung fu.
What if, okay, hold on. So I got a question for the comments.
Okay.
What if
That's what I was for the
what if-
answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to go ahead, Gordito, and then I'm gonna read the
No,
comments.
so that said, what if one makes more than the other?
Oh well, hell,
Okay.
you get into it.
My dad made more than my mom. My mom retired back when she was a long time ago. My dad made all the money in the household. But at the same time, my mom, because she was there for my dad, because they were in a giving relationship, she offered to pay for the light bill, the cable, the telephone, because she wanted to make sure that she contributed to that household.
Exactly.
She contribute. That's 50-50 to me. 50-50 is when you both contribute to the household. It doesn't matter if one makes more money or makes money at all. 50-50 is when you contribute both to a consistent, successful household. If you're a woman at home working, taking care of the house, cleaning, cooking, taking care of the kids, and a man is out making money, as long as that household is cohesive
Yeah.
and pushing forward successfully, that's a 50-50 relationship. That's a relationship.
Yes, that is.
Facts.
It doesn't matter if somebody paid the light bill.
Facts on facts. And
the husband paid the light bill. It doesn't
Oh,
matter
dude,
who
it's
paid it
first.
that week, as long as it gets paid by anyone in that household.
Yeah.
Now, don't make a person feel bad because they did take care of a certain bill and then another person. Don't do that because it's communication. We talked about this. You're gonna handle it this week. You're gonna handle it this week. I'm gonna handle it this week. I'm gonna handle it. It's communication. Y'all need to make
let me
decisions
add
on what
this.
happened.
DJ, I'm gonna hold on. After I say this, DJ is you, then Laurel is you. And I'm gonna be honest. I honestly use my parents for an example for this. My dad always made more than my mom. Don't get me twisted. She worked. But when I say I watched through my childhood these two support each other from working at Popeyes, fried chicken, and being at offices cleaning floors and toilets, supported each other through college. To the point where my dad was a health inspector for the state for years. My mom became an RN. They put that money together, had a daycare before 9/11. See, the key word that we forget, we focus on relationship and we forget partnership.
That's why it
If you
says
can
communication, Sebastian.
to
It's
build each other up. And yes, that means sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice. That's part of it. Go ahead, DJ.
Really quick. Oh, go.
Go ahead,
I
DJ.
would say I would say this too. Watching, I don't think people understand what the word sacrifice is no more either. They don't understand what they want to be ready made. My mom, my stepdad has been together for 30 something plus years, and when my stepdaddy got with my mom, he was making $25 a week, bro. To the point now where they build each other up. To the point where my mama was touching almost six figures, and my stepdaddy was touching six figures. But now my stepdaddy's in a place to where my mama don't have to work. We look for the right now goal versus the long term goal. Yeah, you might want to be taken care of, but you might have to help get somebody to that next level so they can, you know what I'm saying, get there. As long as that person got a vision and they working towards it, then if you accept that vision, then work towards that and stop letting outside and social media run the household. Because ain't nothing never been wrong with 50-50 until social media came along. I don't know where that comes
that
from.
part.
Do you think
That part.
do you think the outcome with your mother and your stepfather is the rule or the exception? Like, do you think a majority of people in a heterosexual relationship like that would be the outcome? Or
I
do you
think
think
if-
that
I
they're
think
built
if-
It'll be
different?
the exception.
Yeah, do you think that they're
I
built
think
different?
it's part of the exception, but also seeing my grandma and my great grandma and my great granddad do the exact same thing. and then seeing my grandma do the exact same thing, right? So 60 plus years. My auntie, which is her sister, has been married 50 plus years, and
Yeah.
they've been through the ups and downs. It's what you're willing to sacrifice, and if is your love worth the work? Is that relationship worth the work? I think that's what I'm getting at, because I've seen on both sides of my family them go through literal hell with each other, but they're still together. Everybody in my immediate family has been married. Well, on my mother's side, has been married 40, 50 plus years since high school.
It sounds like
Right?
you're
And
describing functional people, though. How
that's
many
what I'm
times do you
saying.
go
Okay,
past
so
the
Kung Fu,
lives and
Kung
see
Fu,
dysfunctional people?
Kung Fu.
I don't care
Listen,
about the lives.
listen,
I'm
let me
talking
say
about the
this.
life that we live.
Hold on.
Yeah, and I think you're
Yeah.
describing really
Hold on,
functional
y'all.
people.
Let
Let me
L'Oreal
say
get
this.
his point out, and then Kung Fu will come to you.
Kung Fu, let me say this, so that way you'll feel more, okay with it. It's the exception. I think it's the exception. I don't think it's the norm. It's an exception when people make that decision, because I didn't see that healthy dynamic. I saw my dad work his butt off. I saw my dad do the best that he can to take care of the house, but I also saw my mom go to work, and I saw the relationship wherein when times got really stressed, I would hear certain things like, I do everything. I take care of this and I take care of that.
Who is
He barely making no money. I'm the one supporting us. I'm the one. And I used to be like, but he here, mom. Like he he does the yard. That man cooks. That
This
man
is for
does this.
me.
And I don't know if she was playing or not, but I used to hear that. I used to hear, like, certain things in the relationship, like they were negative aspects of, like, hey, I know, and I heard my dad at the end of the night, he's like, I don't care what happens. I don't know, whatever's going on. I know that I'm not gonna go to bed mad at her. We gonna work it out. We gonna talk through it. I used to hear that man do his best to try to, hey. But my mom's she's very stubborn. She's very stubborn. And when it came to certain aspects, especially when it came to the amount of money, my mother was a social worker for the Jackson Public School District. So, of course, she was making money. But
Mm-hmm.
on the opposite, my dad was either a car dealer, he worked at a car dealership, or, or he worked at AT&T when it was still Bell South. When it was still Bell South. So my
It's
dad
still
was doing other jobs. He was a truck driver. He was doing things,
he
but
did
he
what he could
still
do.
contributed. He did what he could do. And my mom, I felt, and this is my opinion. I don't care if it hurt somebody's feelings or not. I feel like my mom did a number on that man's confidence when it came to him just being, okay, yeah, I can do this. So yeah, I can do that. Like that,
But
to
see,
me, that wasn't fair.
like, I'm looking at She Trucking. Everybody's not sure. Here's the thing though. Like how Kung Fu said to DJ, is that the norm or is it the exception? Me growing up, that was the fucking norm. Married couples supported each other. Me growing up, that's all I saw, whether it was my family or neighbors or who, they literally took care of each other. It wasn't no, oh, well, this person say this person think that. Fuck that. We take care of our home. And I'm not talking about no situation where nobody abusing nobody, putting nobody down. All this, I understand those things happen. But these I looked at these couples literally build each other up from the ground, from the dirt. And now, like with my mom and dad, when they was going, when they even with them, like right now, my mom and dad got divorced when I was like 13 or 14. My mama call my daddy right now and say she needs something, his ass go get it. Vice versa, if my daddy needs something, my mama go help him do it. They still help each other, and they not even together no more.
That was my grandma and granddaddy.
I don't understand how we got to this point. Like, and I get it. I'm only 39. I got a long way to go. But I do not understand people's mentality these days when it comes to relationships. Go ahead, Kung Fu.
I think, well, I want to make 2 points. I think that part of what we're discussing and like mixing together is a scarcity mindset. And I think a lot of people operate out of scarcity. Like, hey, I don't have enough, so I need to hold what I have, or I don't have enough, so I need to seek out somebody that has the resources that I need in order to survive day to day. I think part of it is a scarcity mindset, and we're putting that, like, we're mixing that into relationship stuff. So my point earlier when I was talking about femme and masculine, it's more so, is that person self-sustaining, like a self-sustaining person, like where if you didn't exist, if they never ran into you, they could feed themselves, clothe themselves, house themselves, and be happy and be satisfied with the level that they're at. Like, are they looking for you for romance, joy, comfort, emotional support, stuff like that? So if you don't need to, you don't really need to seek out anybody with a scarcity mindset, because it ain't shit that they can add to you. They too hungry, they too unhoused to really be focused on romance and intimacy. They looking for resources. So that's point number one. And then the second point I was talking about with the dysfunction and the functional, like if you grow up, you know how people talk about generational curses where, oh, you got to break those curses. What they're really talking about is they come from a dysfunctional family, and it's a long line of them. Like, it's hard for a dysfunctional person to make a functional person. Like, you have to make some changes internally to break that cycle. So, you know, when you say you come from a family where it's like, oh, somebody been married 30 years, they've been married, my grandparents married 60 years, that sounds like a functional lineage. So your mindset is different than the average person. You know, if personally, I come from a dysfunctional ass family, so I am very cynical on my outlook when I look at people. I look for, before I look for their pluses, I look for their flaws to see if they're going to disturb the peace that I've created for myself, and I can't be around them. And that's not just romantic relationships, that's friendships. If I think you gonna bother my peace, I peace the fuck out. I leave you the fuck alone.
I get that.
Yeah, so I think our outlooks are different based on our background.
Yeah.
But I definitely respect your outlook. And I get where you're coming from. I just think that's why maybe we're looking at the same thing, but from a different lens.
And with you saying that, Kung Fu, I think that's right there part of the root of it. Because like they always say, we are product of our environments, right? Mm-hmm. You have so many people now that have came from the dysfunctional. They've come from the broken homes. They've come from, even if it's a single parent home, and not saying a single parent home is horrible, okay? Because there are plenty of women that have been raising the children for a long time, and they have turned out to be successes, okay? So don't think I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm not one of those guys. Oh, the black woman is the problem. I ain't that motherfucker. Let me make that very clear. But what I am gonna say is this though, as a community, right? Like, especially when it comes, okay, so I had a session, so I can't fix y'all shit.
Had a session.
But when it comes to my community, right? That's where those of us that they start calling Unc now, like me, Gordito, Laurel, that's where we come in. Because we are that guidance that the younger generation need. They need to know they are more than their body. They need to know they are more than just what's in their bank account. And unfortunately, most of them, one, hey Roku, come from broken homes, number one. Number two, are thrown out of their homes. Three, are not shown love and support through their life. So they don't know how to give this shit or receive it. We are blaming people for being broken, but we are producing broken people.
That's a bar.
I'm just saying.
I was thinking the same thing.
No, I'm just saying you are blaming people for being broken, but you are contributing to the breaking of them.
Say it for the people in the
I think too, to piggyback off what you're saying, is that sense of community is gone. Like you were saying, like when I was coming up, there was never a house I couldn't go to on the block that I couldn't get some food from
Same.
if my mama wasn't home, right? But now, like even me, 39 or finna be 39, is when younger kids are around and they out of pocket, and I try to check them, the parents don't like it. You can't. So it's like even though a lot of men have fallen short, the men that do step up don't even get the appreciation or respect for even trying to guide them. And so it's like for me personally, it's like I took a step back. So like
We
the
don't have
last
no sense of
relationship,
community anymore.
Like truly,
yeah. So
I honestly see here the thing, and I think because I am in the LGBTQI plus, I understand where women coming from on a lot of stuff. But then at the same time,
Hi.
I
Good
can
morning.
see
Good morning.
how the heterosexual women are feeling too. Like I'm not talking about the deadbeats. I'm not talking about the ones that's full of shit. I'm not talking about the ones that are abusive. I'm not talking about the ones who try to. I'm talking about. And let's be real. There are plenty of good men out there. There are so many good men in this world. I'm sorry if y'all don't want to believe it. They are there. They are willing to work. They are willing to hustle. They are willing to support. They are willing to do the things. But here goes the thing. Like I said, I spoke up for the women earlier. Now I'm going to speak up for the men. If you see a man trying his damn hardest and all you do is tear him down, all you do is criticize, all you do is complain, all you do is tell him he less, all you do is you breaking him. You're breaking him.
So that's why I left my last relationship to be. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
now hold up. So when you have broke this motherfucker, because there's plenty of women out there that have broken and abused and used and messed over men, when he become that ain't shit motherfucker,
That pride is gone. What you do.
he's a product of what you did.
Don't complain about it. You did it.
Come back to what Gordito said at the beginning of the live. You drove him over there.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a tiff yesterday, and I even realized in that tiff, I was like, I can't do this because I know that when you get upset, one of the first things that we do is we try to cut or hurt somebody's feelings or try to say something that's, hey babe, or try to like tear them down. That's the first thing. And I'm like, no, we can't do that. And I had to bring myself back, and I was like, no, you're right. I'm sorry. And that's one of the hardest things that some of you can't even do. You know what?
Real talk.
You right.
We don't.
I'm
Here
sorry.
go the thing. We look at it from the aspect of, all right, when we say you push the man away, a lot of people go directly to you sleeping with somebody else. You do not have to go and sleep with another person to check out of a relationship.
You don't.
Most men come to you. Most men, real talk, when you get him to that point, he's just like, whatever. Baby, you're losing him.
You don't lost him.
No, you ain't lost him yet. But you're finna.
Because he's going to stop saying
pushing
whatever and just stop talking all
What you
together.
about to do?
When women, like I recently saw a post. I'm finna come to you, Kung Fu.
No, Fintu, I was trying to get you to say that again.
I recently saw a post, and it was this little prank, right? And it's something so small, but it speaks volumes. The women that took the men's PlayStations
I seen that not to beat the brakes off that bitch.
and hid them. Hear me out. Hold on, hear me out. Hid them, right? And they're like, well, you spend more time with that game than you do with me. Now, here to go the question that should have been asked. Why is he finding more joy in that fucking game than he is in spending time with me? But see, you don't want to look in the mirror. You don't want to look at yourself. You don't want to say, yo, maybe I'm the motherfucking problem. Maybe if I learn to shut the fuck up, maybe I stop getting on his nerves, maybe I stop nagging him all the motherfucking time, maybe he will want to spend some time with me. But no. He's the problem. The game is the problem. No, how about you're the problem and you need to own up to your shit?
Say it for the people in the back.
Own up to your shit. Go ahead, Kung Fu.
So it was the earlier point Damn, I lost it. But
I'm sorry.
I think a lot of people are broken in a lot of different ways.
Oh, yes.
And instead of taking time after a failed, I'm not gonna say a failed, a past relationship. You know how people say you can't get over somebody till you get under somebody else. Like a lot of people are doing that instead of taking time to assess, because it's not always the other person why the relationship failed, right? Sometimes it's us. Like I think sometimes we spend too much time lying to ourselves about what problems are, and not being not having a good self-assessing skill, like knowing my strengths, knowing my weaknesses, things like that. And we look at all the problems as being external when a good portion of them may be internal, right? Especially when we talk about like who or how we were raised and what type of things we may have internalized or kept from that and never healed from our childhood. So I I think a lot of times when we talk about relationships, we the examples that we use are very broken people, and and people who don't know themselves.
I have a question, Kung Fu.
All around. Oh, you ask your question. Because I don't want to ignore the comments. Sebastian say, let's not egg these men off. He's unhappy. He needs to communicate
I saw that.
When the fuck do they get a chance?
That part.
No, I call bullshit out when I see bullshit. We are so quick to tell men you don't communicate. When he communicates, you're sassy, you're weak, you're a punk, you this, you that, you less than a man. Don't tell a man to communicate if you're going to make him feel less than a man for communicating with your ass.
Is that the rule or the exception, though?
No, that has become
That's
the
the
rule.
rule.
It's become the rule to associate.
So is it the type of person that you like dealing with?
Hold on.
Is it the type of person you like dealing with?
It has literally, and again, we going with majority, Sebastian. Majority of women now, as soon as a man says how he feel, the moment he shows emotion, the moment he cry, the moment he say, I'm hurting, he's less than a man.
How do you know what women do if you gay? When the last time you laid up with a woman to know that they do this every day?
I literally listen to them
They
talk,
do it.
mama.
They do it on live.
Actually,
You may not
you
see
don't
the
have to
live.
be a woman to see how a woman acts, though.
Who do you think women talk to?
I'm not saying you have to be a woman. I'm just
But they
saying,
talk-
like, you're speaking
but
with a
they
lot of
talk to
passion
us,
with this.
though.
Like, this is something you deal with every day.
Kung Fu, remember, most women go to their gay best friends. They go to their
They
gay
get
friends.
friend.
They come and tell us
What gay best
everything.
friend?
Bingo.
I mean, what woman do
We
you
the
have?
ones
Bingo.
women talk. We the
Bingo.
ones heterosexual
Okay.
women talk to.
Kung Fu, you're the exception.
Yes,
Right now,
you
You're
are.
the exception. Most women that have gay friends, they come and tell them everything. So we know exactly what's going on in people's relationships. We know exactly what's happening. You
Miss-
don't do that, Kung Fu.
Miss Truckin,
but most
baby, no
do.
disrespect to you, baby. Please, we are not coming from places of hurt right now. I'm sorry your ex did that, boo, and I don't mean no disrespect to you. We are talking about the actual men who actually are trying to share how they feel with the person they're supposed to be with, and are told down because of it. Go ahead,
Yes,
DJ.
and I'm saying that is a broken
Man in
bitch.
here, him
So,
being
listen.
the only heterosexual man in here, I'm gonna give him a chance to talk on it.
Listen, the last relationship I exited out of accumulates to everything that we just said in the last couple minutes. When she wanted me to be open, I became more open. I tried to sit down and discuss things. I got criticized and ridiculed every which way. And she did some real bad disrespecting to me one day, and I almost snapped. I almost broke character, and I had to leave the house. So I came back after a long, just driving, and I tried to sit down and talk to her. I said, how you disrespected me in front of other company and in front of your kids, your kids won't show respect for me, but treating me like that is going to make me act a certain way. I said, but you don't feel like it was wrong, or do you feel like it was wrong? She was like, no, I'll do it again. With an attitude, to the point
that's
where we
fucked
was
up.
laying down. We was laying down talking to each other, though. We was laying down in the bed face to face talking to each other. And she said that. And after she said it, she rolled over and turned her shoulder to me.
My God.
And do
2
you
months
think
later,
that? I'm not gonna call her.
2
Well,
months
I am
later.
gonna call her a bitch. Do you think
Two
that
months-
bitch was
2 months-
mentally stable? Do you think she was mentally healthy? Do you think she was emotionally healthy? Do you think she was
I'ma say this.
intellectually
I'm
like
I'ma say
healthy?
this.
but do you
Oh,
think that?
hey, baby.
I'm gonna say this. It got so bad to the point that I shut down and I just left, right? But to your point is one interaction let me know that she would never respect me is because the way she talked to her stepfather. Now, I asked her in grave detail, how long your stepdad had been in your life? Oh, he used to hold my hand and walk me to school every morning. So I said, like 3, 4 years old. She said, yes. I said, so why do you talk to the man that's been there for you for your entire life and you 30 something now? Why do you talk to him with that? Like that? Like, why do you disrespect him like that? It ain't disrespect, it's just how I talk. I said, no, it's very disrespectful. And if you can't respect the man that raised you and helped build your mama house, there's no way in hell you be ever able to respect me as a man.
Do you think
Point
she's a
blank,
functional
period.
woman though? All this stuff you're describing, do you think she is like she comes from a functional family and she's a functional person?
She comes from a functional family, but she's one of those people that take the negative and hold it to her heart. No matter how long ago it was, she's gonna hold that to her heart. And it's even though she's a sweet person, it's making her bitter. And I tried to explain that to her. I tried to explain it to her, like, hey, listen, like, let that go. She was holding on to something. She was holding on to something that happened in her childhood between her and her sisters. And it's like 4 maybe total, but all 3 of her other sisters are doing very well in life. And she was like, well, they don't like me this and they don't like me that. I said, they got to like you if they doing for your kids. They don't have to do
My
for your
question.
kids. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some people
My
have
question on topic Kung Fu is we were saying how when broken people basically break people and the cycle continues, how is it that someone can heal from a broken environment and the environment that they
self-assess.
came from? Huh?
Self-assess. Know that I don't need to be with anybody. That's what I'm saying. People don't look internally. Like I don't.
No,
Yeah, sit your ass down.
no, I'm
like,
saying
be by
no, I'm not saying
yourself
that. I'm saying
and fix you.
I'm not saying that either. I'm saying how does one not necessarily heal, but how does one be a healer from a broken past? Like, say for instance, my generation, my family, they had different views. My mom and dad had different views. My grandma and my granddad had different views. But I am not the product of their brokenness, is what I'm saying.
I am.
I'm the one I got. Well, I'm not. I'm not a product of their broken
You
mentality.
make L'Oreal. You
I
make
am going
choices.
the step
L'Oreal.
further. I want to heal.
Hold on. I'm finna come to you, Gordito. L'Oreal.
Probably
You
gonna say it.
have to make the personal fucking choice every day of how you want to deal with situations. I don't care what your.
I know that.
Hold
I
on,
know
hold
that.
on.
That's what I'm telling
Hold
Kung
on.
Fu.
Hold on. Because it's too many of us grown ass men and women blaming our parents for every motherfucking thing. You are grown.
You're an adult now.
Make your own damn choice. If you know your mom and them did that and it was fucked up, don't do the same shit. Do something different.
Stop
That's
blaming
exactly
your
what I'm
parents
saying.
for things that you are making the decision to do now. They don't run you now.
Xavier, I love him. Real talk. But and he gonna probably cuss me out for saying this. His family fucked him up. They fucked him up. I saw what was wrong. What I chose to do, instead of just saying, I'm gonna throw my hands up and give up on you. Come here, baby. Let me show you something. Let's go. Let's put you in therapy and let you get this stuff out. Sometimes, and see, this is something I'm gonna say that a lot of y'all go argue with, and I don't care. Y'all know I don't give a fuck. I never do. I have my hand on it. Sometimes a person needs somebody that help them get to where they're supposed to be. Sometimes they need it. And the thing is, they might not even know they need it. Because all they grew up in is turmoil, dysfunction, hatred. That's all they know, survival. And sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, because some people ain't savable, but sometimes they need that person. Sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's a partner, sometimes it's a pastor, sometimes it's whoever. But we all need some, and those people, some people are not only are they willing to be saved, they're willing to put in the work too. But sometimes they just need that guidance because they ain't never had it. Go ahead, come for.
So I've already mentioned that my family is dysfunctional. I'm the bastard. My dad had me on his first wife.
Outside,
I'm just saying. Let me. I'm gonna speed it up. I ain't gonna give you a L'Oreal.
That's a good word, a bastard.
But he was married to my stepmom. My mom died. I had to live with my dad and my stepmom, people I never really knew. Right? Them niggas was crazy. I'm sorry. Them people was crazy. I used to get my ass beat like a drum, right? So instead of staying in that environment, what I knew when I was 18 was this ain't healthy. This was nothing like my mother's house. I need to go. So step one, get yourself out of that environment. But what you don't realize, even though you leave, the mentality, the emotions, everything that people have put into you for the last, umpteen years or whatever, you're taking that with you, right? So I thought I was different because I left, but I was really the same person in a new environment. And I was having the same outcome in a lot of like platonic and romantic relationships because I did not know how to communicate. I used to lie a lot because I used to lie to keep people from beating my ass. But I'm a grown person now. Nobody's going to beat my ass. But I was still lying. Also, I didn't know how to manage money and stuff like that. It was just a lot of things that you expect to teach a person that's going to go out into the world. I didn't have a lot of those life skills. I knew how to clean because I used to have to clean all the time at their house. But other than that, I really didn't know how to function and navigate the world as a human. And I used to keep running into these situations. Like my head would bounce against a wall. I would run into the same things over and over and over again. And then I realized I was in a cycle. But I didn't realize that at 18, 19, 20. I was like 25, 30 before I realized this is not sustainable. Some of the stuff that's in you, you're gonna have to sit down. You're gonna have to lay these burdens down, or else it's gonna push you to the grave. Right? I had to learn how to manage my money. I had to learn how to communicate with people. I had to learn how you cannot save everybody. Save yourself first, bitch. Like, put your life vest, put your breathing mask on first and make sure you straight before you let all these people around you that's got chaos in their suitcase. So I'm just saying, like, you have to be able to self-assess and be like, I'm not where I want to be. This is not what I want to be for the rest of my life. I need to move on. So you got to lay that shit down. You got to put new shit inside of you. That was my whole point.
I agree.
You are right. You are absolutely right.
But still, piggybacking on what you said, again, sometimes people need somebody to help them get there.
Right.
Go ahead, DJ.
So what I was gonna say too is she had the point of view and perspective of what healthy was, and then when she got with the negative, she understood what the negative was.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Right. So a lot of people never get that comparison. They never get that yin and yang. They stay in the negative all their life, and they think it becomes normal. So self-awareness is never in that category whatsoever at all. Being self-aware is never because I'm just functioning like I know how the rest of the people I've been around function. So changing your circle and mentality is key, is top priority. But how many people even get the? Okay, so I'm the black sheep of the family, right? So me changing my perspective just on religion alone kind of outlawed me from my family. Period.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? Because my grandma played piano for the church for 62 years. My daddy was a deacon, even though he used to come home and beat on my mama. That's a different story. But my whole entire family was Christian. You know what I'm saying? So when I stepped away from it, oh, you gonna do this and oh, you gonna be like that. But it's like, nah, I seen something else. I feel like it's something else out here. This don't sit well with me. And it never sat well with me. So being self-aware and being confident enough within yourself to step away, that's the hardest thing. Just being confident in yourself, because honestly, me and my family and the people that I grew up around, nobody was confident in my abilities to do anything other than what they wanted me to do or what they wanted me to be. You know what I'm saying?
And see, with you saying that brings up another issue. I cannot speak for all communities, but especially those of us of color. We have a real bad issue of fucking our children up. We tear their self-esteem down. We make them feel like they are so small, useless. They are burden. They like we have made a generation of children that literally hate us.
I have never heard the term "if I didn't have you" so much in the black community. If I didn't make that, if they didn't say it, but if I didn't make that mistake,
I am flabbergasted of the amount of people that I see tear their children down instead of building them up. I don't get that. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you create a life and then all through their childhood you make them feel like they ain't worth nothing. And then you expect them to go out into the world and be a good person.
You're welcome. After you have torn them down limb to limb and shown them all the things that they not supposed to do.
it was the boomers. It was the generation. It was the boomers, the generation right before mine, because I'm a generation X, not Z. I'm a generation Z.
Yeah, you X. So
I'm
before
an
you,
X. I'm sorry. I'm an X. So before me and boomers were the main ones that didn't encourage their kids to be great.
that's called the silent generation.
That they the
Yep.
ones that encourage their kids. Oh well, you're not gonna be nothing no way. So you might as well just stay at home and take care of me. You don't need to go to school for what? School ain't doing nothing for you. You need to get your ass out there and work. You need to get out there and bring money to this household. That's what that generation was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm used to it. I'm used to it, except my mom. My mom was different because my mom was from the country. She didn't know nothing but to work. So she wanted better for her children. She had the mindset where she wanted better for her children. So she wanted to push them to do better for themselves. A lot of people don't have that mindset where they want better for themselves, so they could care less what anybody else is doing around them, even their own kids. I had kids to take care of me. I had kids to work for me.
So do I, Kung Fu. Okay, so Smash said a parent's only job is to get their child to adulthood. Now, they're good parents, they would, and it would have, I guess he taught, but he ran out of letters because he didn't answer the comments. So respectfully, I'm gonna disagree.
Respectfully.
Being right now, I'm 39 years old. Okay, my parents got me to adulthood, but here go the thing. Especially with those of us being where we at now, our parents are still our support system to a degree. Even though we working, paying bills, doing this, doing that, sometimes we still need help.
But what is adulthood though?
And my mom told me till this day, yeah, I'm 39. If things got so bad that I need to come home, I can always come there. I'm always welcome.
Glad you got that option.
You are when you create that, like, you forever their parent. It don't stop because they became 18. It doesn't stop because they became 21. Because here go the thing, and this gonna be the controversial statement. Your children don't owe you shit. You owe your child everything because you put them here. They didn't ask to be here. They
also don't
fucking responsibility. They are your choice that you made. Yes, they become an adult and they have to pick up responsibilities, but you a piece of shit if you ain't gonna support them as much as you can, as long as you got breath in your body.
It also don't stop because they make their lifestyle choices. Don't stop because they came out the closet.
I stand by it. Why create?
Don't stop
if you ain't gonna be there to help them prosper in everything they trying to do.
Come on,
it also doesn't stop because the child has chosen to live their life the way they want to live it as an adult, with all respect to their parent. You know,
even when a child becomes an adult and becomes successful, you still are supposed to be there for your child to encourage them, inspire them, continue to be there for them no matter what. It don't matter what you the one brought them in this world.
Yeah.
Don't
Amen.
just,
You
don't
put 'em
just
here.
let them go because you think you done did your job. You still ain't did your job. That's the problem.
The job ain't over.
The
The
job.
job ain't ever over.
Hey, so
Hold on.
I
Well, Sophie was first, and then we going to you.
Oh, you can let him go because I've been talking a lot.
I just gonna say this real quick. I had a conversation with my mom, and it irked my nerves so bad. So when I started becoming more aware of what we should be doing as parents, I asked my mom. I said, "You said I was a child until I graduated. That I got to obey by your rules. I understand that, right? But when I turned 18, after I graduated, now all of a sudden I'm an adult, but I still have the same childlike mind. Tell me what changed when I graduated?
Your age.
Ain't nothing changed.
Your age.
I still think the same. I still act the same. Nothing has changed. You haven't. I don't. Especially in my community, like I don't have the option to go back home, right? I don't have that option, and I see that a lot in our community, especially towards young black men. And it's like, what do you want us to do? We're gonna go out here and make babies because they don't know how to do nothing else. They don't know how to control their phallus. They don't know how to control themselves. If I would have had, like, my daddy wasn't around and my stepdaddy really wasn't the guy to talk about this, but if I had a man in my life that taught me the purpose and how to control myself before I just jumped out there and started swinging meat, I would have been a totally different human being. I would have been a totally different human being. For real.
Chariot.
That's
And then Gordito, we coming to you.
Who was it?
You, Kafu.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know I've been beating the fuck out this drum of scarcity, but I feel like the way that we try to push our children out the home as soon as they turn 18 is indicative of like a scarcity mindset. I don't have the resources to continue to fund you, to feed you, to do all these things, so I push you out into the world ill prepared, where I haven't poured into you the things you need to know: how to budget, how to make money, how to save for the future, how to save for retirement, all those things. You're just pushing them away because you don't have it, and sometimes you don't even have the knowledge. I've asked my parents things before, and when they said it, it sounded dumb as fuck. And I knew instantly they didn't know what the fuck they was talking about, so they couldn't give me good advice. But if I wasn't smarter than them, then I would have taken that advice and I would have ended up worse off. But as an adult, I do give them grace because I look at what was poured into them. Like, I look at, the difficulties that they had with their parents, with sexual abuse, with physical abuse, emotional abuse. I think about like some of the stories that they tell me about how it was when they grew up. And then I think about my grandparents and I think about the things that I know about them and what they went through. So it's hard sometimes to be that person that's breaking the cycle. You really think that you're doing better than the last, but the person that, that's under you may have like a negative view on the things that you've done to them, rightfully so in a lot of cases, because some shit just you should never do. But that's how, as an adult, I've been able to let a lot of the hurt go, is because I'm like, you didn't have a fighting chance. Like, no offense, grandma, but goddamn.
Hey, Sheila.
I have a question. Isn't teenagers, aren't they still children?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say 18 and 19, doesn't that mean they're still a child?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so why y'all keep trying to get rid of kids when they're 18? When you turn 18, you got to get out of my... Baby, that's still a child. Just because they can vote now don't mean nothing. That just means they can get a little bit more experience in their life. But that don't mean that they're not children. They still need
most
help.
people, when they create these... Hey, Seattle's, when they have these children, they don't look at them as they children. They look at them as a burden.
Amen.
Get rid of it.
They want
Independent.
Okay, so they wasn't a burden.
Or a paycheck.
They want them as a... I'm sorry. And I'm going to say a lot of them look at them as a paycheck. They look at them as a tax return at the end of the year, a tax write-off, or a servant in their household.
Ooh, I got another social I can use.
That's it.
Hey,
Ooh, these lights gonna be putting your name, the water bill.
Down
Gordito.
before they even get their first job.
I give the boomers grace on that because we didn't start credit checks until the 1980s. So they would have been experimented on, and especially Generation X too. Y'all would have been the first ones to get shit put in y'all name because their parents fucked up their credit immediately. But like people don't realize that all them credit checks and the mortgage, like for all that stuff, that didn't start until the 1980s. So it wasn't like they knew a lot about it anyway. But it's still messed up.
Majority of parents nowadays, as soon as their child hit graduation, get your ass on. I'm the exception from what I've seen.
Well, Sebastian, a lot of people try to keep their kids to keep them to take care of them and to work with them and do things for them.
My mom